All right, guys, Bitcoin absolutely flying. Also, we are about to get more money pouring into this space than you can ever imagine. The God candle that we're about to see when we get this confirmation of the spot ETF being approved. By the way, we know the final date now. The God candle that we're about to see is going to be nothing compared to what we're about to see immediately after that. We're going to talk about that in this video. And of course, it wouldn't be a video if we didn't go in to show you some of the altcoins that are absolutely going to explode here fairly soon, but we're going to front run that right now. And yeah, this is one word for this episode, guys. It is alpha. Alpha, alpha, alpha. So if you're excited, guys, for this episode, do me a favor, smash the like button. Go ahead and destroy it. If you're not subscribed to the channel yet, what are you guys waiting for? Come on, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell notification, all, and let's get into it, guys. First, let's go take a look at my trades, which have been, you look here, you see everything looks good, right? 34,000 Bitcoin, $10,000 profit on ETH, and you scroll down and ew, Solana, you're killing me, Solana, killing me. But I'm going to show you guys something at the end of this video, which makes me feel very good about this Solana tweet. And I'm going to give you guys some more insights on some other ones that are about to pump as well. Just mad alpha. So what we're going to do first, guys, and as you can see, Bitcoin is absolutely just tearing it up right now. If you remember, this Bitcoin trade was down like $30,000. I don't know, late last week, right? And ETH trade is doing good that we opened live on the show, and things are looking very, very good. Look, we're about to hit $47,000 right now for Bitcoin, and I also just about 2 hours ago acquired much more Bitcoin using Aave for intelligent leverage, the same way that Michael Saylor uses intelligent leverage. Let me know in the comments below, guys, if you want me to make a detailed video on how to use intelligent leverage. It's one of the best things that I've been able to do. It's allowed me to accumulate many more Bitcoin than I would have otherwise been able to. So yeah, so what Michael Saylor talks about, you guys can do as well. And let's get into the ETF updates. And we're gonna there's a lot of them, so we're gonna kind of run through these. And yeah, so all right, so James, if you guys all know, the homie James was on the channel. Okay, done for the night. This was last week. Everyone got their filing in, and then Grayscale. Wow, big move here. Solidifies GBTC definitely going to the first wave. So GBTC, of course, they won the court case, right? So they're the ones who kind of like make Gensler or the SEC have to kind of do this. So Nate Garachi says, in talking about this right here in the red, the staff had no additional feedback on the paperwork for several of the firms after the latest amendments, two of the people said. This is a very good sign. So basically, what happens is that you have the issuers who put the applications in, and then the SEC will go and leave comments on them and say you need to fix this, this is not okay, blah, blah, blah. But after the last round of submissions, no comments to be made. That is the best sign that we could see, as in everything looks ready to go. Now, another telling sign is the SEC is putting out threads like they are born on crypto Twitter. So SEC says, no go to FOMO, or fear of missing out. Just because others might buy a particular investment doesn't mean it's the right opportunity for you. Learn more about finding out what's right for you and investing in your goals. Yes, like buying stocks, right? Or like buying mutual funds, because we're all here to make 3% a year, not. Okay, so Nate also says that it looks like, so Blackrock has come out basically and said that it's going to happen Wednesday. These ETFs are going to happen Wednesday. It's now Monday. And so you can see the market's pricing that in. I just saw in one of my research rooms that I think it's like CNBC or something, so one of mainstream news this morning in America talking about ETFs going to happen. So looking very, very positive, extremely positive here. And here's where we're going to start talking about the amount of inflows that people are expecting to see right after the ETF is approved. So Travis says that $2 billion week one into Blackrock alone would blow expectations out of the water. Half of that from all ETFs combined would have been pretty good outcome. And they're talking about this. He's replying to this tweet that says, I heard from a pretty well-placed source that BlackRock has more than $2 billion lined up in week one in new incremental flows from existing Bitcoin holders who are adding to positions. I can't vouch for it, but that's what everyone's doing, blah, blah, blah. And another one too from Bitcoin Archive says, Justin Van Eck bought $72.5 million of Bitcoin to seed its Bitcoin ETF. Okay, here we go. Buying Bitcoin, buying Bitcoin. Now another one, Pantera, which you guys know is one of the oldest crypto funds. Dan Moorhead in 2013 put out a memo to his people at Pantera saying that he was going to buy 70,000 Bitcoin or something. So congratulations, Dan. Well done. But they're going to put, so as soon as the ETF is approved, they're going to put $200 million into Bitwise ETF. So that's another $200 million purchase order coming directly after the ETFs are approved. And then Eric says, to the same $2 billion tweet, this caught my attention too. Hadn't heard this, but it would be on brand for BlackRock. They've lined up and injected big cash into new ETFs on first day of trading, so it registers as volume and flows. If it's true, $2 billion would blow away all first day, week, volume, and annual records for an ETF ever in history. Yeah. What do you think about that one? You can see these are the other ETFs that have been launched by BlackRock and the huge inflows that came into it. But this would be by far the biggest. And this is why I have a different opinion than some of the analysts like James and Eric, where I think the inflows are going to be absolutely enormous because they keep comparing them to other ETFs, right? But no other ETF that's launched has had the kind of excitement around Bitcoin, the kind of narrative around Bitcoin, the halving, the institutions, the countries adopting it, this, that, another thing. There's just people know they want to buy this thing, right? They want to buy Bitcoin, and a lot of them just aren't going to do it unless it's through an ETF. So, yeah. And here's another one. Dylan LeClaire says, multinational bank Standard Chartered calling for $50 to $100 billion inflows in a spot Bitcoin ETF in 2024. Bull run. Yep. So this trade, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be doing very well. This one here that's already at $36,000. Yeah, and you guys also, if you want to stop, Magic Mouse, please. If you guys aren't in the VVIP Telegram group, you should definitely go do that. The instructions are in the description below on how to get into that. It's free, costs you nothing, and there's massive, massive alpha in there all the time, all day long. So yeah, so anyway, what they were just saying is that it's definitely something that BlackRock tends to do. They tend to, on the first day of trading, they just pump a bunch of liquidity into it, so it looks like they have the most volume. That's a big marketing signal to the rest of the people saying, oh, we should use BlackRock because it's the most popular, right? So another one, update. Both JP Morgan and Goldman Sachs, are approaching clients about initial BlackRock spot Bitcoin ETF inflows. So this is what I've been talking about forever, guys. The sales guys, right? At JP Morgan and Goldman Sachs, they're on the phones with their clients, getting all these sales done, getting their books built and saying, okay, they've probably been on the phones for a couple of weeks now at least, talking to all the people that they're advising their portfolios and probably saying, hey guys, this is going to happen. On the day it does, we should probably make a move on that day because it's probably going to be the lowest price of Bitcoin you're going to see for the rest of your life. So how does that sound, Frank? Should we put 3% of your portfolio, your $100 million portfolio into Bitcoin? Yeah, that sounds good. Or why don't we do 5% or whatever, right? So we know that the first day of trading, that all these guys who have been sold the idea of buying Bitcoin through the ETF said yes already, which is going to bring even more flows into it. So next, we're going to go here. And so someone says, Jeff or James, let's spark the conversation, an honest one. You say 90% sure in ETF. Can you explain to all of us what happens if the 10% plays out? What happens to ARK? And he says, good question. ARK withdraws with assurances about March, unlikely. Gensler goes nuclear and the SEC denies using new reasons or ignores the court knowing that they'd end up back in court. Again, unlikely. And Biden admit comes down and does something to stop this, unlikely. So, and a quick note on those who are worried about Gensler rug pulling and SEC voting in relation to Bitcoin ETF, meaning that they deny the ETFs. Basically, so this is responding to Eric's tweet. So read but the SEC hasn't voted, and how that's some kind of possible rug pull. Few things. The SEC has never voted on Bitcoin ETFs, spot denials, or future approvals. They were denied or approved via delegated authority. So whatever. Now this was by this lady over here, Elizabeth Warren. Yeah, Elizabeth. You should just retire, please, and enjoy the rest of your life doing whatever it is, but doing whatever you're doing now. Please just stop doing what you're doing now. You're doing a horrible job. So they tried to put out this report from Better Markets at the 11th hour before this thing to try to get this ETF denied, right? And Matt says, the fact that Better Markets, a special interest connected with Elizabeth Warren, who has been caught unethically coordinating softball questions to Gensler, expended significant resources to put this letter together in the 11th hour, it makes me think we may yet get rugged. And let's go in to talk about that. So you can see that this Better Markets, of course, who writes a testimonial on the website, Miss Elizabeth Warren. No, just no. And then Eleanor Terrett from Fox News says, I'm not saying this 11th hour comment letter from Better Markets will negatively impact an SEC approval of BTC Spot ETF, but it's definitely worth noting that the SEC chairman, Gary Gensler, and the president and CEO of Better Markets, Dennis Geller, are tight. They serve in Biden's presidential transition team together, and Keller himself doesn't like crypto at all. Here's some of the past comments that Keller made about Gensler, the SEC, and the crypto industry. And just comes down here a bunch of like ridiculous comments, right? And so it's dumb. And then James comes out and says, would be an absolute criminal move for this to happen, considering the time and effort, energy from all these issuers and the SEC staff over the last few months. Remember, the SEC staff has been working with the issuers and the stock exchanges and spending so much time and money and resources to get this thing done. They're not going to rug pull this thing at the last second. If they were going to deny it, they would just deny it, and they wouldn't make it. They wouldn't put so much effort into getting these forms right, everything like that. Like, it's so obvious, guys. And this is what this ding dong looks like, just so you guys can have an idea of the just vote no for this guy, please. Just vote no for this guy. So these inaccuracies were actually in this report from Better Markets. They said Bitcoin is a governance token. They said Bald was listed on Coinbase, which it absolutely wasn't. It was on Base Chain. And they said 5 maintainers can change Bitcoin at will. Really? And more. But just all kinds of lies and inaccuracies in this report we just talked about from Better Markets. So Scott comes out and says, I'm not really worried about the Better Markets letter for many reasons, some which I'll get into later. And he says, for one, as a technical matter, they didn't even submit the comment to the only 2 applications, Franklin and Hashdex, that were accepting comments as of yesterday. They simply copy-pasted the apps from their August letter and forgot to include the only relevant ones that would be required to consider the comment. If Gary and Liz had some conspiracy here, I think we've underestimated their incompetence, right? So it just, this letter means nothing. And then Scott comes out and says, actually, no, DC Circuit made it clear that spot and futures products are sufficiently similar across the relevant regulatory factors that they should be considered like products and treated similarly. Therefore, since the SEC said futures satisfies the criteria listed by Better Markets here, it is the burden of the SEC to reasonably and coherently explain the different treatment. And they failed to do so. And so therefore, they can't do it again. Bam, ETF is approved. And Scott just goes on and says, I could go on, but trash letter written by trash people won't waste any more of your time. I agree with that. So 5 things to watch this week, guys, for the Bitcoin spot ETF. And we already got the taxes or the fees. We know what that's going to be. And then number 2 is obviously the SEC's, we'll show it to you that in just a minute. Obviously, SEC's approval vote, which sounds likely on Wednesday. SEC Division of Trading and Markets must approve 19B4s. And Division of Corporate Finance must sign off on the S1s. Key is 19B4's approval orders, which I expect. ETFs could possibly launch on Thursday, meaning they could start trading on Thursday. If that happens, fascinated to see what type of investor money is already lined up. Rumor, BlackRock showing up with $2 billion. What might Fidelity, Invesco, and others bring? ARK could buy $200 million to replace GBTC in ARK W. And he also says, will GBTC convert to uplist the same day as everyone else launches? I think so. Indications are that they will, in my opinion. Huge advantage for GBTC. It currently has $27 billion in Bitcoin. Will automatically be the top 60 ETFs by assets under management upon launch. And of course, we're going to see this marketing blitz. We've already seen a preview with Bitwise, Hashdex, and VanEck. What does BlackRock, Fidelity, Invesco, ARK, Grayscale, and everyone else have in store? 33 Act, advertising rules, much more restrictive. Gonna see some real creativity here. So, yeah, so wait until these commercials start going everywhere on national TV. Everyone, it's just gonna be the best thing. This is the best bull run ever. This is gonna be the best bull run ever. If you're here, congratulations, amazing. Pat yourself on the back, be happy, because we're all gonna make absolutely killing together in this bull run. Nate says, wait a minute. There was something I wanted to read to you guys. Where is it? Anyway, he says, it should be, another week at the Coin Turkey Derby. Is it here? Not yet. I was going to show you something very funny, but it's not here yet. So Nate says, think important to keep highlighting this. Respot Bitcoin ETF race. Brutal issuer competition equals investors win. We see it in every ETF category. I offer a few thoughts as well on competitive dynamics. So essentially, this is going to be the fees war, right? And we kind of know, I'll get into that in a second. Eleanor says, what will be interesting to see, in my opinion, will be whether or not the SEC approves all 11 spot ETFs at once, or does it a staggered approach. In my opinion, they're going to happen all at once. That's just my opinion. So we're now past the official SEC government submission deadline of 8 a.m. and all issuers, aside from Hashdex, have submitted their updated S1s and S3 in Grayscale's case. So unless there's a last-minute filing from them today, these are the issuers that have handed in all the homework and would, in theory, be ready to launch this week. Also, I found out later, I don't know where it is, but the reason that Hashdex isn't in there is because they are not creating a brand new Bitcoin spot ETF. They're converting their Bitcoin futures ETF into a spot ETF. Therefore, it's a different form. I think they're up to par on that as well. So this is interesting to talk about the fees, guys, and the competition here. So ETF issuers rushing to cut fees to less than 30 basis points is everything you need to know about how far they're willing to go to market BTC to the world. Oh, and that's without the king of low fees, Vanguard, in the race. If I were in the sell the news camp, I'd be very, very concerned. Agreed. And so here's all the fees, guys. I don't need to read them to you, right? But like the reason that Grayscale is by far the highest is because they already have $27 billion of assets there, so they can just instantly turn on those fees. But you can see the other ones are very competitive. Some of them have the waiver, which is like 0% for 6 months, and then da-da-da. But yeah, here you can see the fees. And this is the point too. Like, if they're willing to charge as low as, 0.3%, they're not going to be excited about $1 billion under management. They're probably expecting the smaller ones, tens of billions of dollars. And the large ones, probably hundreds of billions of dollars under management. And that's why these fees will actually make them a lot of money. BlackRock, Van Eck, ARC21, and Valkyrie all listing with management fees under 0.3. If I'm running the fund, I'm thinking how much money will be coming in that charging that low of a fee will be worth it. It's got to be decent. Lots of inflows, guys. Lots and lots of inflows. And guess who came out to make a tweet thread? It's our boy Gary Gensler, you know? A thread. Some things to keep in mind if you're considering investing in crypto assets. Those offering crypto assets investment services may not be complying with applicable laws, including federal securities laws. Investors in crypto, I'm not going to read these to you guys, but the point is that Gary came out to give some warning, right? And he hasn't really done that with specifically crypto, right? So he's coming out, he's saying, hey, now if something's registered with the SEC, like an ETF, you could probably trust it. If it's not, it's probably a scam. So that's the updated ETF news. Let's go back and just for fun, how we doing over here? All right, still sitting there at 47. So now we're going to talk about the next ecosystem that I'm feeling is going to boom. It's SUI. So what is SUI? Well, you guys probably remember, maybe not, but Facebook was building whatever it was called, their huge blockchain project, right? And then they got shut down. And then the founding team of that split up and did two companies. Sorry, guys. It's very, very late for me. They did Aptos and SUI, right? And SUI, I just been hearing a lot about SUI. So we're going to look at which altcoins have very low market caps, which I think are going to pump like crazy in the coming weeks. Another thing too here is, guys, is I just discovered this, so I didn't really plan it for the show, but a good thing maybe to do, just think about it, is they have these liquid staking protocols on SUI. So if you go stake some SUI, then you can get the liquid staking like Lido on ETH. And if you're using one of these protocols, Aftermath I think is the biggest one, Hedril and Volo, there's a good chance, these don't have a token yet, there's a good chance that if you go stake some SUI in there, you're probably going to get some airdrops. That's my guess, just a guess. So how's SUI doing and why are we talking about it? Well, it is only up from its all-time lows 126%. So it's really, really, really hasn't pumped like crazy yet. And we know that some of the most brilliant minds in the world are behind this thing, and they have tons and tons of money from the funds and everything. So I think they're going to come out swinging pretty hard. So let's take a look. This is the SUI ecosystem. You can see it's not a whole lot going on here right now. Not a whole lot. Still need to be building a lot of stuff. But what is SUI? So SUI doesn't sequence transactions. It sequences access to the same shared object. Beauty of SUI's data model is it allows it to break free of common bottleneck. It's also leveraged for horizontal scaling and a cleaner programming model. Also, a brief mention of SUI Consensus 2.0. So that's what SUI is. You can see that here in the past, the past 7 days, $69 million of TVL went from Ethereum, and half of that went to SUI. You can see if we open this up. Ethereum's TVL, 66.9 outflows. Half of that went to SUI. The rest is Solana, and then these guys down here. So leaving Ethereum to go to other ecosystems, right? You can also see that SUI's volume or TVL has just been exploding recently. We like to see charts like this, especially that we know that we're getting ahead of the narrative. Why? Because you can see that in the last 30 days, SUI's only pumped 18%. It's almost nothing, right? And it's only up 126% from all-time lows, which is three months ago. So we're definitely still early on SUI. If you're looking for something good to put in your blue chip bag, I think SUI is a very good bet on that one. Now let's look at, we read that already and saw that already and that already and that already. Okay. All right, so Turbos, guys. Turbos is basically, it's basically like a launchpad, a DEX, and all these kind of things all baked into one platform. So you've got earn, bridge, stats, trade, and it's one of the best DEXs on SUI, and it has a token, right? It has a token. So what is it? It's basically just like the same as Uniswap v3 mostly. Now, the market cap for Turbos right now is only $4.5 million. When things like Uniswap are in like 7 billion or whatever it is, Jupiter's gonna launch at multi-billion, and this thing is at 4.5 million with fully diluted of 36 million. To me, this thing sounds like an amazing deal, guys. A very amazing deal. Let's hope that I remember to go buy some before I go to bed. Yeah, anyway, bullish on that. And the other one that we have is very late. I was also out with Sheldon last night. Sheldon, for the sniper from Banter. The other one, guys, is Cetus. It's like the same thing. It's like the same. It's like a DEX, Uniswap v3 liquidity kind of concentration thing, and the only difference is though that this one is a bit higher, 6.25 million circulating market cap, 80 million fully diluted valuation, and you can get these ones. Okay, so you can get this one on OKX, KuCoin, Scam, MAXC, BitGet, etc., etc. And the other one you can get on Bybit, KuCoin, and Gate for Turbo. So these two I think are definitely high quality, and then I am going to pick them up as well. And the last thing, in the beginning of the video, I told you why I felt okay about my Solana trade that was down so much, because our man Hasaka has come out and said round 2 starting soon. He's talking about Solana, Injective, and I believe Say. They're all about to pump right after the Bitcoin God candles. So life is good with all of these things, guys. And guys, that's going to be it. I'll catch you